Hi, I just wanted to come on here and share one of my favorite memories about James. I've known James for quite some time. Him and my brother were best friends growing up. I watched him go through the awkward phase, the choir, the cross-country swimming phase, all the things. Um, Me and James also had a tutoring session with Ms. Barclay once a week. We made her life a little bit harder because us two together were a little goofy and we got sidetracked. But me, Josh, and James started hanging out quite a bit during high school, and we came up with the name of Trio. We were the trio. And James gave us the name JKJ, which those two always argued whose name came first. But yeah, one thing that sticks with me is our mom was sick, and my parents had to sell the house, and I remember I was packing the boxes and I was very emotional and everything. I texted them. They drove 25 minutes to come hang out with me and just be there for me. We sat on the floor, listened to records. We went out to the pool deck, listened to Chance the Rapper. James always loved and appreciated my love for Chance the Rapper. I made him listen to the Coloring album probably 150 times and he never complained. He would headbang and do his thing. But yeah, we went back inside, we made some s'mores on a cookie sheet, brought it into my bedroom, and sat there and ate s'mores and reminisced on all of the memories, the old barn, the pool parties, the 4th of July parties, birthday parties, all the things. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that I got to have a friend like James who went the extra mile and checked in on me, and he made one of my terrible nights one of my favorite memories, and I'm never ever gonna forget that, and I miss him. So
Growing up with James, I have so many memories with him that it's really hard for me to pick one. But just recently, I've been rewatching all of the Harry Potter movies, and whenever I watch those, it's hard for me to think of anything but him. As a kid and an adult, he was probably the biggest Harry Potter fan I knew. When he was little, he could not sleep unless he listened to the Harry Potter audiobooks every night. And my bedroom wall was shared with him, so I also heard the Harry Potter audiobooks every night. A few months before he died, I got him a first edition Harry Potter book from London, and I think that gift meant so much to him. I think he cried. A few days after his funeral, I found this little guy in his house. It's Dobby. He even has a free elf sock. And now this little guy goes with me everywhere I go on my adventures, and it feels like having James along for the ride. I love and miss him very much every single day.
Hi, Eric and Kira. This is Julia Himmel from James's class. My favorite memory with James is him coming up to me at Johnson County Community College and just making sure I was doing okay. And we were also taking the same class at the time by the same teacher, and I was always holding him accountable, and he was holding me accountable for all of the classwork that we both had to do. But I hope you both are doing well, and I'm sending you both so much love. Mwah.
Yo, what's up? My favorite memory of James is just how he was always down to hang out and have fun. I could skate over to his house from my house when I was younger, and he was just down to hang out, and he was always really kind and down for whatever. It was great.
One of my favorite James memories is IPS water polo day. Bunch of kids getting in the pool at Lawrence High, and James comes out in his Lawrence High swimming Speedo. And, there was probably some kids that were nervous or, uncomfortable about getting in the water or whatever. And you got this dude splashing around in a Speedo. It was pretty tough, not to laugh at. And he was laughing, and I think that really speaks to the kind of kid that he was, the kind of guy that he was, just wanting to do something to put everybody at ease, make everybody laugh, make everybody smile. And I think it's a pretty funny and fitting way to remember him.
Hi, I'm Ariane, and this is Aislinn. My favorite memory about James would have to be the day that I met him. We met when we were in the 8th grade. I went to West Middle School, he went to South, and one day him and Nico just showed up and started hanging out with a couple West kids. And I remember I was in a bad mood for whatever reason that day, so I was kind of off to the side by myself. And James walks up, sits down next to me, sticks his hand out and goes, "Hi, I'm James." And I didn't really respond because I didn't know him. I was a little shy and I was in a bad mood, but I was like, "Hi." And he sat there and he's like, "What's wrong? Why are, like, you're over here by yourself?" And I was like, "Oh, whatever reason I gave." And he sat there with me and let me talk about whatever I was upset about. And he really listened, and I remember we sat and talked for about 15 minutes. And afterwards I was just like, this dude is really nice. Like, he's a complete stranger, but he's sitting here taking the time to listen to me vent, and he's genuinely listening to everything I'm saying and caring about how I feel. And that was just James. He had such a warm, vibrant, beautiful presence about him, and he was a great person all around. I wish he could meet my daughter. I wish he could have got that chance.
Okay, so I don't know if I have a favorite memory of James, like just a singular one, but I have times that I reflect on, especially since his passing, that make me smile. And starting with, I would say, right when everyone was going into middle school, I think it was, everyone used to go to LGA from like our generation, those few grades. And it was the place to be. And I remember James being like so popular and everybody wanting to be around him being popular on Facebook, and just being so kind to everyone. Like, I genuinely remember that. And I also remember his hair too, because that was around the time that like Justin Bieber had like the flip hair, and so did James. So like the girls were just eating him up because he had the flip hair like Justin Bieber. So that's a fond memory I have of him for sure. And then I would say the other one, which still means a lot to me, is when I dropped my first song. When I released my first song in high school, I was a junior and I was very nervous, obviously. And James reached out to me. He texted me, I think, and said that it was fire, and that, like, just congratulated me. And that also meant a lot to me, and to see how my career has changed and where I'm at with my music now, it means even more. So miss him a lot, and sending Grace and his mom and the rest of the family love.
Hey, so I'm just hopping on here real quick to share one of my favorite memories with James. So I swam with James in high school at LHS.
So this is James's Aunt Lori speaking about my memories of James. And I will say the last time I made a video, I was much more somber. But as time has gone on, it's a little bit easier to focus on the positive and the good things about James, and not so much about the fact that he's no longer here on earth with us, although he will always be with us. And what does that mean? It means that I can remember James always calling me Aunt Lori. Not everybody does that. Some people call me Lori and I'm their aunt. Anyway, I loved how he said Aunt Lori. And he always greeted me and always said goodbye, no matter what. And I think that that showed a lot of respect. But one thing that I loved about James, and actually when he was hanging with Price, a lot of times they would do little, almost like little bits in terms of like comedy skits or whatever. And one of my favorite ones, and any of you who know my friend Leslie know that she is a very high energy person, and she's a very wonderful person. And occasionally Price and James would do work for her, and they could imitate her and her pace and her level of energy in a way that would just make you almost roll on the ground laughing. And so there were many things like that. That's the most recent one that I can think of, where they would, in good nature, make light of people, I guess I should say, because they just knew how to do it. And I also loved that whenever I needed help with anything and called James, 9 times out of 10, he would say yes. And sometimes it was stuff that wasn't very fun, like moving stuff, heavy stuff, crap that was in my garage, or mowing the yard when it was 110 degrees outside. And then I think one of the sweetest things that he did for me was when Aubrey turned 21, he came over and helped create the bar for the occasion because she was 21 and she could finally drink, because of course we all know she hadn't had a drink before then. Anyway, and I have a video of James cutting up fruit, and I should probably find that and send that along as well. But anyway, in my heart, I feel James every day, and sometimes it's overwhelmingly sad, and sometimes it's can be a happier thought because of the fact that he was in our lives. He and Price were very close, and I feel very sad that we all lost him, and I know for Price it's a really hard loss, but I am glad that he had him for the time that he did. So that's all I have to say right now. Nothing probably as creative and stupendous as I probably should do, or that James deserves, but I do love James. I wish he was here. Bye.
Hello, my name's Chandler. I'm James's friend from middle school and grade school way long ago. And I want to share one of my favorite memories that I had with James, and matter of fact, that whole group, Josh, Nico, myself, and James from then. I think it was 6th grade when we were all getting to know each other. We'd all go over to James's house and hang out because he had the pool, he had the trampoline. Of course, we were going to go there. And my favorite memories are just all the times we would be hanging out late at night, be done with the pool, it's midnight, and we're all just still jumping on the trampoline, making jokes. And then we all get to that certain point where we're all tired, and we were all just laying on the trampoline together and deep in thought, for however deep you can be for a 12-year-old boy, and just looking at the moon and being like, no, it's not the clouds that are moving in the sky, it's the moon. Just because the wind was picking the clouds up, and we all would just laugh at that for hours, the fact that the moon was moving. There's just something so relaxing and fun. That was just pure joy. Those are the nights that I will always cherish.
Say first off, I apologize for asking people to do a favorite memory, because I myself can't do a favorite memory, but I do have, I had the honor and privilege of showing James and Josh the Adventurous Adventures of One Direction and Pitch Perfect, both things that they did not want to watch. I had to pull their teeth to have them watch. I had to tape their hands and force them to watch these, but after they watched them, they fell in love with them as much as I was. And it's the Adventurous Adventures of One Direction. If you haven't seen it, I think it came out probably 10 to 12 years ago. It's on YouTube, and the guy who voices them kind of does a good job sounding like different One Direction characters, but it was also kind of bad. So we would make fun and try to, there's a part where we'd say tacos or spoons. There was just a lot of little things that we got from that small series that just would always make us laugh. And then on top of that, Pitch Perfect, I'm pretty sure this was around, I think I made them watch both, because I think I told them, I said, remember when y'all didn't want to watch Adventures One Direction, and now y'all love it? Yeah, same thing with Pitch Perfect. And then that became a huge thing with us, and we just would rewatch it so many times and just sing our little hearts out to it. And yeah, it's just those two small, that film and that short series on YouTube just holds so many memories, so many fun memories that we were able to have with James. And it was also a cool point in life, because we were getting a little bit older, but we were definitely still very youthful and doing things that we weren't supposed to, but starting to mature maybe 1%. And yeah, I look back on those times very fondly, and I'm just super grateful to have countless, endless memories with James. So thank you, James, for all of the amazing memories, and we miss you and we love you.
My favorite memory of James was his kindness, the way that he always remembered everybody's name and would smile at you in the hallway and just acknowledge your presence and be there, because that's more than a lot of people ever do.
What's up, dog? So, favorite James story. Where do I even begin? I always think about our little trips to the mall back in high school. I remember freshman year, for some reason, that was something I was insistent on wanting to do, was go to the mall with you guys. I guess seen it on too many movies, I suppose. So we did that frequently. We went up to Kansas City, me, you, James, and Amiri. It was always funny. We always had to stop at Olive Garden, tradition. I remember the one time we were walking around, I think, Oak Park Mall, and there was this little, like, eyebrow shaping booth thing, and James was insistent on doing it, regardless what we had to say about it or not, regardless if we wanted to leave, he had to go get his eyebrows fleeced. So we stood there for 20 or so minutes watching him do it. And I just remember, we gave him a hard time about it on the way back, but he wanted to do it. So that was James. If he wanted to do something, he didn't care what other people thought about it, or if his friends were going to give him crap about it, and he would do it. And he it always cracks me up thinking about that time. I also often think about our little misadventures when we were making our short films in high school. Working on I've Never Kissed a Girl, classic film. Just the amount of things that we got him to do. Like if the script called for it, James was willing to do it. He was like that. He was willing to do anything for his friends. I remember whether that be like being duct taped to a chair in my grandpa's shed for hours as we did take after take. Looking back with hindsight now, we probably didn't need to tie him, duct tape him that tight, but we were kids, so what do we know about making movies? But he was willing to do it, regardless if there are breaks in between each take or not. I remember shooting that little mini montage sequence. We had him doing all sorts of ridiculous, silly things, like doing push-ups. We had him kissing a mirror, which he wasn't thrilled about. But we did it. We got him to do take after take of him kissing the mirror, regardless if he wasn't, the biggest fan of it. He did it, and that was James. We all cracked up and we were having a good time doing it. He did it with a smile on his face, and that's something I always think about with James, is that he had so much love and had such an open heart for everyone that he cared about, and he'd do anything for us, whether that make a silly film or just make us all laugh as we're playing video games in your basement. And yeah, I think about that frequently. So James, you're very, very much missed, and we love you, dude.
Hey Nico, thanks again for doing this. I think it's awesome. It shows how much you care about James. I have two things that I'll say. So the first would be, I don't know if this is the most enjoyable moment I've ever seen him, but this is like when we first became friends, about first or second grade. And our game was Lego Star Wars. We loved that game. We would go over to his house and play it after school, like every single day. And anybody who plays Lego Star Wars knows you collect mini kits. And when we couldn't find the last one, and we get in the car after school one day, and he's like, Charlie, I think I know where it's at. And like we go home, and he finds the mini kit in the map. And like I see him go crazy, and that was like the first time like I saw him like really, really happy. So that moment will always stick in my mind. And then this other one, not necessarily the most happy I've ever seen him, but maybe the one thing that I think he found most comforting was when his loving mother, Kara, would make him buttered noodles. So once again, Nico, thanks for doing this. This is awesome.
One of my most vivid memories of James is when I went over to visit him and Becca when they were living over pretty close to our house, and I knocked on the door and James came to the door and Daisy got out, and we ran all over the neighborhood trying to get Daisy, and we finally jumped in the car and followed her around and got her in the car. And James was so relieved when we finally got Daisy to get in the car, and he loved that dog so much. But it was a really fun chase. Love you, James.